Imagine a time when France was on the brink of transformation, a period where the old world met the new, where the echoes of the Middle Ages began to fade, and a vibrant rebirth of culture, thought, and art emerged. This was the French Renaissance, a time when France not only witnessed a rebirth but also redefined its place in the world. Have you ever wondered how France, emerging from the shadows of war and plague, became a beacon of artistic and intellectual brilliance? What secrets lie behind the grand chateaux of the Loire Valley? How did nations steeped in tradition give birth to a movement that would change the face of Europe forever? In this video, we dive deep into the fascinating world of the French Renaissance, a period filled with intrigue, innovation, and extraordinary creativity. Get ready to embark on a journey that uncovers the profound impact of this era on art, architecture, literature, and beyond. The birth of a new era. The term Renaissance, derived from the French word for rebirth, was first coined by the historian Jules Michelet in the 19th century. But what exactly was reborn during this period? To understand this, we need to travel back to the late 15th century, when France was recovering from the devastation of the Hundred Years' War and the Black Death. It was a time when the nation was economically and politically weak, yet on the verge of something monumental. The French Renaissance was not an isolated event but part of a broader European movement. However, its development in France was unique, marked by a distinct blending of Italian influences with indigenous traditions. The seeds of this cultural and artistic revival were sown during the reign of Charles VIII, when the French invasion of Italy exposed the French court to the wonders of Italian art, architecture, and humanism. This encounter with the Italian Renaissance sparked a creative explosion in France, setting the stage for an era of unprecedented cultural flourishing. The artistic awakening. Art was at the heart of the French Renaissance, and its impact is still visible today in the masterpieces that adorn museums and palaces across France. The early stages of this artistic awakening were characterized by the influence of Italian and Flemish artists who introduced new techniques and styles to the French court. Among these were Jean Clouet, known for his realistic portraits, and Leonardo da Vinci, who was invited by Francis I to live and work in France. Imagine being a guest at the Château du Clos-Leuce, where da Vinci spent his final years, surrounded by his inventions and the masterpieces he brought with him, including the Mona Lisa. As the Renaissance progressed, French artists began to develop their own distinct style, heavily influenced by Mannerism, a movement characterized by elongated figures and a reliance on visual rhetoric. This period gave rise to some of France's most renowned artists, such as Jean Goujon, whose sculptures are celebrated for their grace and beauty, and Germain Pilon, known for his expressive works that capture the emotional depth of the human experience. But the artistic revolution was not confined to painting and sculpture. The architecture of the French Renaissance was equally groundbreaking, with the construction of the magnificent chateaux of the Loire Valley serving as a testament to the era's grandeur. These pleasure palaces, built not as fortresses but as symbols of wealth and power, showcased the architectural innovation of the time. The Château de Chambord, with its intricate roofline and sprawling gardens, is perhaps the most iconic example of this architectural marvel. The Humanist Revolution. The French Renaissance was also a time of intellectual revolution, driven by the spread of humanism. This philosophical movement, which emphasized the value of human potential and the study of classical texts, had a profound impact on French thought and culture. The works of humanist scholars such as François Rabelais and Michel de Montaigne challenged traditional beliefs and laid the groundwork for modern philosophy. Humanism in France was not just an intellectual pursuit. It was a way of life that influenced education, literature, and even politics. The French court became a center of learning, attracting scholars and artists from across Europe. The establishment of the Collège de France by Francis epitomized this commitment to education and the promotion of new ideas. Unlike traditional universities, the Collège de France was open to all and focused on the study of subjects that were not covered by other institutions, such as Greek and Hebrew. In literature, the Renaissance saw the rise of the essay, a form perfected by Montaigne, whose reflections on life, death, and human nature continue to resonate today. Meanwhile, Rabelais' satirical works, including Gargantua and Pantagruel, used humor and exaggeration to critique the follies of society, pushing the boundaries of what was considered acceptable in literature. The Architectural Revolution. Architecture during the French Renaissance was nothing short of revolutionary. The chateaux of the Loire Valley are perhaps the most famous examples of this, representing a shift from the medieval fortress to the Renaissance pleasure palace. These structures were not just homes but symbols of the power and prestige of the French nobility. The Château de Chambord, commissioned by Francis I, is one of the most iconic examples of Renaissance architecture. Its design reflects a blend of French medieval forms and classical Renaissance structures, with its famous double helix staircase possibly influenced by Leonardo da Vinci himself. The chateau's sprawling layout and intricate roofline symbolize the grandeur and ambition of the French Renaissance. Another architectural masterpiece of the period is the Château de Chenonceau, known as the Ladies' Château due to the powerful women who influenced its design and history. The chateau's elegant arches spanning the River Cher and its beautifully manicured gardens are a testament to the Renaissance ideals of beauty, symmetry, and harmony. In Paris, the old Louvre castle was transformed into a Renaissance palace under the direction of Pierre Lescot. This transformation marked the beginning of the Louvre as we know it today, a symbol of France's cultural and artistic heritage. The expansion of the Louvre was part of a broader wave of urban development in Paris during the reign of Henry IV, which included the construction of the Pont Neuf, the Place de Vosges, and the Tuileries Palace. The musical revolution. Music, too, underwent a transformation during the French Renaissance. The period saw the rise of the chanson, a secular song that became one of the most popular forms of music in France and across Europe. Composers like Claudine de Sermacy and Clement Janquin were pioneers of the Parisian chanson, creating music that was light, singable, and often infused with a sense of playfulness. The chanson was characterized by its dactylic rhythm and contrapuntal style, which later influenced the development of the Italian canzona and eventually the sonata. Janquin's La Guerre, composed to celebrate the French victory at Marignano, is a prime example of the genre's ability to capture the spirit of the times, with its imitations of cannon fire, trumpet calls, and the cries of the wounded. As the century progressed, the chanson evolved into the air de cour, which became the most popular song form in France in the early 17th century. The air de cour was more refined and expressive, reflecting the increasingly sophisticated tastes of the French court. But the French Renaissance was not only about secular music. The era of religious wars that followed the Renaissance had a profound impact on sacred music in France. The Protestant Reformation led to the creation of the chanson spirituelle, a form of religious music that retained the structure of the secular chanson but with a moralizing or religious text. Composers like Claude Gaudemel, who was tragically murdered during the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, were key figures in this movement. The legacy of the French Renaissance. The French Renaissance was more than just a period of artistic and cultural rebirth. It was a transformative era that reshaped France and left an indelible mark on the world. The innovations in art, architecture, literature, and music that emerged during this time laid the foundations for modern French culture and had a lasting impact on European civilization. The influence of the French Renaissance can still be felt today, from the masterpieces in the Louvre to the chateaux of the Loire Valley, from the essays of Montaigne to the chansons of Sermacy and Janquin. This era of creativity and innovation set the stage for the Enlightenment and the many cultural achievements that followed. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of the French Renaissance is a reminder of the power of human creativity and the importance of cultural exchange. It was a time when ideas flowed freely across borders, when artists, architects, and scholars from different countries came together to create something truly extraordinary. In a world that often seems divided, the French Renaissance stands as a testament to what can be achieved when we embrace our shared humanity and work together to build a brighter future. The French Renaissance was a time of transformation, where the past was reimagined and the future was born. It was a period of incredible artistic and intellectual achievement, but also one of profound change and innovation. As we look back on this era, we can see the roots of so much that we value today: creativity, humanism, and the pursuit of knowledge. So, next time you walk through the halls of the Louvre or stroll through the gardens of a Loire Valley chateau, take a moment to appreciate the history that surrounds you. The French Renaissance was more than just a moment in time. It was a movement that changed the world, and its spirit lives on in the art, architecture, and ideas that continue to inspire us today. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the French Renaissance. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the fascinating history that has shaped our world. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering the wonders of the past.